thank you. I'll put on my resume that you introduced me. Yeah. I'm glad to be here. Visiting Tokyo was a lifelong dream. I come from a city with 2 million Japanese descendants, so Japanese culture was really part of my growing up. So, introductions. Who know what is this? Come on. Yeah. Okay. If you like Yamato, if you have toys, if you know where to buy them, T-shirts, tell me. Okay. I'm just not trying to buy model kits that I need to do myself because it's like frustration. A few moments after I open the box, it's always like that. Uh, Most of you know me, and from yesterday I just added the first logo. Who know what that logo is? MSX? Come on. Oh, thank you, Hamiro. Thank you for saving me. I start working with computers. Actually, I started playing with computers in the beginning of the 80s, and it was the time of 8-bit computers. Americans use mostly Apple computers with Apple II. I had a Apple II clone, but my heart was with the Japanese and their MSX, even though I developed a long-lasting hate for Microsoft, because MSX means Microsoft Extended. At some point, they stabbed the standard and they left. So I still love MSX up to this day. It's impossible to do anything meaningful other than play with them. Again, if you know where to buy good MSX computers, tell me. I still collect them. Right now, I work with Wundertax. We do German taxes online. Already more than 150,000 submitted declarations, 100 million euros given back to our happy customers. Taxes in Germany. Actually, I come from Brazil, and in Brazil, doing your taxes online is a reality since '95. Doing on paper, it's something on the history books since 2005. Meaning, oh, I want to fill a form and give to somebody, and people will look at you like, okay, where's your time machine? Did you sleep for like the last 10 years? When I arrived in Germany, I wanted to do my tax online, and I wanted to do by myself like I used to do in Brazil, and then I found our friend Elster. Elster is like the project from the German tax authority, okay? So they basically started this project also a long, long time ago. They have different projects. They have, for instance, an online solution called Mine Elster. They have a software you can download called Elster Formular. And the big difference to Brazil is the fact that they offer an open API so software developers can build their own solutions on top of it. In Brazil, there's like the government tool, and you have two options. Either you use it or you ask somebody else to use it for you. In Germany, so you can basically, okay, I don't like Mine Elster. I tried. It uses text language that I have no idea. For instance, the first question is, which Anlages do you want to use? Man, I just arrived in Germany. I have no idea what Anlage means, and I have no idea what each one of those are important for. And they have a developer forum as well, all in German, and my German skills are nowhere to be found. But I'm really good at looking at code, right? So decided to look at their documentation with a little bit of Google Translate. They have 700 megabytes. You download 700 megabytes of documentation. XML is king. Andreas, thank you for being here. I really want to know why Germans love XML. Actually, everybody loves XML, but all the API calls are XML-based. If you want to ask, oh, is this valid? You need to create this amazing XML envelope. We have schema definitions for those, so you can write your own XML generator. Amazing. There's a trick. Fields that you need to put inside this envelope. Oh, sorry, we do not have a schema for that. But they provide you with XML files that actually are Excel files from the version 2004. And for some, actually they have one file per text type. At our company, we deal with 4. of those text types, and one for each year. So we are dealing up to 10 years. So we have 40 files. I want to see something, 40 files to check, each one with around 40 or 45 sheets. So that's amazing. And of course, they are color-coded. Why not? Oh, this field is not there anymore, so it's red. So it's kind of fun when we decide, oh, let's add this new use case for our customers. And then the product owner needs to go through all those files and try to see, oh, you need to put this field, but this field changed in 2013. It changed again in 2015, and the format is this and that. So when I joined the company and I asked, oh, which fields do we use on our tool? Yeah, so it's a long explanation. And I'm kind of lazy. And of course, when we decided to go to microservices, we face some problems. Generating an XML on the main application and sending to a service that's going to parse it and then do something and then generate again and send back. And we are dealing with Ruby and Python. It's not exactly the most performant solution, right? And at some point I said, okay, ideally we should send JSON because you have a hash, or you have a hash on Ruby or a dictionary on Python. Easy to serialize to JSON, get on the other side. It's quite easy. It's quite easy to test on the command line as well, so why not? So we started a project to generate the JSON schemas for each text type for each year. So what do I need to do? First, write a Python script that parses all those XML files and generate JSON schemas. Huge JSON schemas, by the way. And I'm not doing all the possible validations yet. Because, by the way, they explain all the possible validations on the documentation in German, human language. Nothing like, oh, this field, there's no formula. It's basically, if this is here, could be a little bit different in the next field, and so on and so forth. Anyway, we created this, and something we did is every time we change something, we generate a Docker image that has this nice interface that's actually make the docs, Emica docs solution with the schemas available. I can show you, of course, not in front of the camera, but I can show you how it works. It's simple, and it solves the problem, because when one of our developers decides, oh, which fields are available in 2012, they have a canonical place to take a look and go, right? But then again, this is not user-friendly, because I was thinking about, okay, my product owner wants to know about every possible field that we need to implement if we decide to have crypto in our text declarations. Okay, schemas are amazing for us to validate the data and so on, but it's impossible for you to start playing. First idea, now I have JSON. Let's dump on Kibana, on Elasticsearch, and search with Kibana. It's working, and then I need to teach my product owners how to use Kibana and how to search for things, and I need to put some kind of security there, because I really don't want my competitors to use the same tool, right? And then I thought, okay, on my free time, I love pyramid and corners. Let's do something. And then I need a user interface, and then I need search, and then, okay, not working. Of course, one of my developers decided to try, oh, what if I create another Rails application? And I said, okay, do it. You have until Monday. It was Friday, right? Do it, and we talk. And then at some point I decided Guillotina, but then again, lots of things to implement after, even though I was able to create a prototype for the API easily during the training. Still a possibility, but it needs time. So what do you do on a rainy Saturday afternoon in Berlin while your laundry is being done and your washing machine is waiting for you? You start playing with Plone. Basically, start with a clean instance, let's prototype with dexterity through the web. I really like this approach. I start thinking, oh, I need this type, this other type, and so on and so forth. In the end, I needed 7 new content types. It's text type, and then it's enlaged, that's a unit, some definitions that are actually vocabularies, and rules and fields. So it's quite easy. That was done, and the script that would parse the JSON files and basically update the Plone using REST API in around 3 hours. Because, okay, I tested, wrote the script, done. So it's easy. But then, of course, I still need authentication. I wanted to use the Google login. I wanted to provide some kind of smart search. Okay, I want to see if this field is available for other years as well. I want to filter all fields that are in this group and so on. Faceted navigation and comments, because every time we implement something, we should leave a comment like, okay, this field is used in here, and so on and so forth. We have around 70,000 contents, because we're going back 10 years, 4 text types, I believe, and for each one, fields and so on. So it's a lot of content. Some of the learnings, first things first, Plone is easy, and David, ta-da, here you are. It's, this is a meta picture, because it's from 2011 with David Glick with Big in Japan, right? Because it was on a Japanese book about Plone. It was an ongoing joke. I was thinking about how can I put the David Glick picture here, so that's it. Prototyping through the web is really easy, and it's really powerful. It's good for you to start implementing something. REST API for content import, as Andres said yesterday, is the way to go. I used to work with Transmogifier, but let's be honest, API calls are something that any developer can do. Transmogifier, even at my times at Simplest, there were like 2 or 3 people that were able to get a WordPress site and move inside Plone with Transmogifier. Plone provides lots of out-of-the-box features like comment search, the whole traversal. You create the hierarchical structure, it fits in people's head. The relations you can add for each content type, also easy to do. And of course, with 2 add-ons, the plugins automatic and the faceted navigation, I solve my user requirements. So with those, it's there. But of course, Plone is hard. And that's Miko, also always available. This is also from Halloween in the Plone Conference 2011. Trying to use build out with Docker and the Docker base image, it's painful. I tried many ways. If some of you followed me on Gitter, I believe, at some point I was trying to make the ASCO idea of having a Plone installation with only pip working, because I wanted to solve this problem. I wanted smaller images. I wanted to be able to create a base image and then, okay, now pip install just the other requirements I have and move on. It takes a long time right now. Importing content was painfully slow. Really, it took a few hours to import the 70,000 content, and they are simple. And of course, I was doing in a local instance. I could do a lot of optimizations, but even so, it's a lot of time to do the importing. And if you're trying to create a proof of concept, it's kind of a roadblocker for you. And honestly, my biggest issue, it's policy package. It was something that at my simplest times, I was really happy to do all the time, because I lived I was paid to do this kind of stuff. Okay, I have this, I deployed, and now I run the generic setup upgrade, and perfect. Now we added a new content type, so I create a diff of the types and in there, and then 5 more files and 2 directories, and so on and so forth. Actually, this is like slow. It's the main blocker right now for me to keep writing policy packages, the fact that the upgrade steps, they require ZCML files, they require like some Plone API calls and so on, best case scenario. So I usually, when it's something that's really important, I do it. For this project, for instance, if I need to do again, I go and, okay, reinstall and see what happens. And testing could be easier. It still takes a lot of time for me to go back and understand, oh, what do I need to test? I have, of course, a bunch of snippets that I basically copy and paste and get it working. But would be great to have a simple test story for us, or at least something with Plone CLI that basically, okay, I want to test something, and creates the boilerplate. And of course, Python 2. It's quite interesting how I got used to Python 3 after stopping working with Plone on a daily basis, and going back to Python 2 sometimes feels strange. Of course, I would say that Python 3.6, it's like the minimum I want to work nowadays because of f-strings. It seems like a small thing, but it saves a lot of time not to doing the dot format and so on. And let's not talk about the percentage to do the interpolation. But I really like f-strings, and if I can choose, it's like, okay, I start with 3.6. In general, summary here is Plone is great. Plone is still great. Plone solves a lot of problems. Of course, it's not something that it can scale forever and, oh, I start with this knowledge base and now I'm going to have this for every country on Earth and accessible and user-generated content and so on. That becomes a little bit harder, but for internet solutions like ours, it saves a lot of time. By the way, I did that on a Saturday. On Monday when I arrived, the guy, oh, I worked the whole weekend and his prototype was not there. And he was like, what? How can you do that? And I said, magic. It's really, really impressive what you can do with a base Plone installation. One of the things I'm not using here, but I usually work with is the content rules. For me, content rules is the killer feature for Plone because, oh, now send a message, or now do something, or now move this content somewhere else. It's really impressive what can be done. But on the downside, creating policy packages and keeping it updated, it's something that takes time. I would love if someone come up with a boilerplate generator or something that saves time for us. I wish that was in the talk about XML diffs yesterday, because it could be a good way to start generating something from the generic setup. You compare what you had before, generate only the diff you need to run, and see how it goes. That was it. Thank you again. Oliver says hi in a different picture. I'm keeping my tradition. And if you have questions.
Any questions?
I'll be here if you want to see how it works and how to see the schemas, for instance, because I'm not going to push here. Hello, competitors. It's going to happen, of course. But I can share with you guys, and it's quite simple. Okay, thank you.